I'm at French Prairie Perennials in Aurora with Rick Naylor. And Rick, you know, we're getting into that change of seasons, and so it looks like you have some conifers here to talk about fall and winter interest.
Right, exactly, and it looks like fall's coming early this year, from what I see from the long-range forecast anyway. But so yeah, I mean, just because it's winter, fall doesn't mean you have to lack color in your garden. Yeah. And particularly with some of these things we're going to talk about, dwarf conifers, they're very low maintenance, very easy to grow. So even though you're using conifers, evergreens, you still don't have to sacrifice any color.
No, not at all. And so they're also pet friendly. We have these beautiful lawn ornaments here with us, and they're really kind of cute to add some extra bling to your garden.
Right, exactly, exactly.
So what do you have for us?
Okay, well the first thing we'll talk about here, this grass is called Festuca superba.
Nice.
Which is a little bit different than your typical blue fescue, and then it has a lot longer and a lot narrower needle. But it is an evergreen, so it does add color for the winter. And if you use it in conjunction with this particular plant,
that's nice,
which is Harvard Gold, which is a dwarf saguaro cypress, you can see the contrast that you get. So you still have a lot of color. Middle of January, December, whatever, February, you still got a lot of color.
Nice. And so in the summertime, in the sun for this one or a little shade?
It depends. The summer's what we've had. We're probably going to want to give this one a little bit of afternoon shade if we can, because it's been so hot. But the temperatures are fairly mild, you know, 70s, 80s. We're okay with it being in the sun.
And these blue lollipop over there, that's great.
This is Abies Coriana Icebreaker, which is a really hard to come by plant and extremely slow growing. This is a 1 to 1.5 inch a year grower.
Wow.
This particular one is grafted on a standard, which would make it a really nice container plant for your patio or your deck. It also, this is normally the way it grows. This is
cute.
A little bit younger plant, but also you'll get a very tight bun like this. But the color, the silvery color that you get, stays that way year round. And beautiful. Never changes. So when you get into wintertime, again, it's a very bright color. And if you use it in conjunction with something like this, which is
that gold,
Hinoki cypress called golden fern.
Pretty.
You know, not only do you get different texture, but you also get a lot of contrast.
Nice. And this has got such a ferny texture. You would almost think it's a fern. And will this get very, very big?
No, that's actually only going to get between 3 and 4 feet tall and about 2 feet wide. So. But also grows extremely slowly.
Nice.
So
if you need some height, this is a good one right here.
That's Whistle saguaro, which is a Lawson cypress. Now the key thing about Lawson cypress, any kind of Lawson cypress, you'll want to make sure that you get it on disease-resistant rootstock, grafted onto disease-resistant rootstock, because Lawson cypress have a huge amount of problem in our area with root rot. So make sure, ask whoever your garden center you go to or whatever, make sure you ask that it's on disease-resistant rootstock before you buy that plant. But it's a very narrow plant. It's going to have arms that come out kind of like a saguaro cactus.
Yeah, they're cool.
And if you don't like that look, you can always prune them and they have a very narrow upright plant. But you're looking at about 8 feet tall for that one.
So a nice smaller garden or a container, again, that would be a great candidate.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. And then one we have here is a dwarf Japanese umbrella pine called Grünkugel, and very dense foliage. And it's another great one for a smaller garden because it doesn't get huge and it doesn't get very wide. It's also very narrow. But the great thing I like about the umbrella pines is you don't get any dead on the inside like you do with some Hinoki cypress or anything. It's just as green on in the center as it is on the outside. So that's the real nice attraction to that plant. Also, a very low maintenance plant. Doesn't require any pruning. Like most of these don't require any pruning. Oh,
wow, that's really nice.
Once they're established, they're very drought tolerant.
Oh, great. And then what is this one? This very kind of stringy one. Very cool.
This is Frankie Boy, and in visual scaping we like to use this in place of grasses because you still get the motion of you get with grasses, but it is an evergreen, and it's also very low maintenance. So with most of our visual scaping jobs, we really concentrate on year-round color,
right? So
that you get 12 months worth of garden instead of just 6 months. But this is a great one because of that. And when we get some high winds, you really get the motion out of it, and it has that bright lime green color.
And so visual scaping, you have to tell the folks. So you come out to people's houses and you bring plants instead of doing drawings, and you kind of place them, and so you really can get the whole effect of your garden in the renovation of it.
Right, because people are visual.
Yeah,
it's one thing to look at a piece of paper with numbers drawn on it. It's another thing to actually see the plants in your yard.
Yeah.
And that way any changes you want to make, you can make them there and know exactly what you're getting instead of trying to guess at it or looking on the internet trying to figure out what everything's going to look like.
Right.
So
if you're really interested in that, it's to come out here and talk to you and talk to your staff about having someone come out to the house and set that up.
Absolutely.
I think that's a great way to do a renovation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so you're right down in downtown Aurora. You have a gift shop. You have this really great yard of plants and of just a wonderful area to look at plants and to hang out.
Yep, the gift shop's gearing up for fall right now, and then of course at Christmas time we have a huge selection of Christmas items on sale. So yeah, we're open 24.
Almost 24/7.
Almost 24/7, but anyway, 12 months a year anyway.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Thanks for all the hints.
You bet. Thank you, Judy. Appreciate it.